I have much to write you, but I do not want to do so with pen and ink. I hope to see you soon, and we will talk face to face. Peace to you.
In a cage, hungry hearts in a rage, glowing eyes in a daze, turning around in a hurry, hoping you will come along. I'm running as fast as I can, in a desperate need of a plan. It's the work of one little man. I'm fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man?
It is inevitable that at some point I'm going to need a place in order to charge my Jackeries. Just a little bit of quick background. I have a 1000 and I have a 500. With the 100 watt solar panel, the 500 takes approximately 7 to 8 hours to fill completely. So a charge would take all day. With the 1000 Jackery, I cannot get it charged in a day. And here's why. The 500 has a max input of 78 watts from the 100 watt solar panel, and the 1000 has the exact same max wattage out of the 100 watt solar panel at 78 watts. It is actually designed to have two 100 watt solar panels with a max of about 148 to 150. It is interesting to check those numbers, but that's pretty much where I am. So again, as I said before, it is inevitable that I need to stop in order to charge the Jackeries. Finding a spot to not only charge the Jackeries, to not have to rotate the solar panel every 15 or 20 minutes to make sure that I'm getting maximum input, is also kind of a recharge for myself for several reasons. One, I can find a decent spot to kind of relax. I can pull out my equipment and I can use some of the things that I don't normally use for several different reasons. The primary reason that I don't pull a bunch of equipment out whenever I'm out boondocking, especially if I'm way out in the middle of nowhere for just a couple of hours during the day, sleep at night, then make breakfast and pack up and leave the next morning, that would just be a considerable amount to pack. Now, if I'm going to stay for 2 or 3 days, then absolutely I'll pull out a lot of the equipment that I have. But I was taking advantage of the opportunity to do that, not needing to, but to just kind of get used to getting it set up and getting it put together. And I've got a great campsite here. This campsite is one of the better that I've seen. It's got, of course, the power and water hookups. It also has as you can see, a lofted fire pit, and it's almost an ideal spot for entertaining, if nothing else. It would be pretty cool if I had, half dozen friends in the area that came over, and we could all sit around the fire pit and enjoy each other's company. Again, just a recharge for myself. And not only that, but it also gives me a little bit of an opportunity to practice with my drone. I don't get a lot of practice with it, or in many cases all I'm doing is really just kind of getting a lay of the land, the area, sometimes a pan, or a quick fly through or something like that. But it definitely gives me an opportunity for practice. And other than getting some practice with my drone flying, I also want to take advantage of the opportunity to practice what would probably not be a typical landing. But if one day, whenever I do have the opportunity to get a boat, it will give me a chance to practice landing in situations that are not necessarily ideal. And here's one of them. I'm going to land on my cutting board. As I woke up, got packed up, and headed out the next morning, I saw that there was an area that had been burnt fairly significantly, and it reminded me of a bass drop fire. September and October of 2011 was actually the worst or most destructive forest fire in Texas history. And thankfully, this area seemed to be more well contained, because anytime that I saw burned areas, they were typically, I say relatively small, several hundred acres versus 1,000, but not to disparage the job, just that they did a good job of keeping it clear. I really enjoy having the dash cameras so that I can get views like this. I probably could clean my windshield a little bit better, but otherwise it really is nice to have. This drive was also about being in the moment, the opportunity to capture this, to have the opportunity to see the changes in altitude and just the absolute beauty that's involved with it as I was driving along. It is just one of the reasons why I was thinking, like as I was titling this, Living at Altitude. As I drive along, I also look for signs like the one you just saw for camping, just to pull off, just to check, just to break out my map and update it, so that if I'm ever in that area, I have a mark on the map that says that there's a pretty decent camp site right here. And I prefer, usually, as you can see, I passed up the van that I was following in, I prefer to drive back as far as I can. And the primary reason for that is because there's typically not many people who will drive that far back, especially if it requires four-wheel drive, and it also therefore reduces or eliminates in many cases the traffic beyond you. Unfortunately, on this case, I think that I went back just far enough that I was able to actually see that someone was living there. I have not come across many boondockers who have propane tanks set up.
Kind of have a feeling like I'm in Fringe and right back now.
I usually end up driving until around 3 or 4, and at this point it was much too early for me to stop. Again, I was just kind of updating my map and finding spots to go. I will say this, you can see that backing up can be fairly precarious. Having that rear camera and the mirrors set up definitely makes a big difference, but a winch would be nice for peace of mind.
It goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little, and we keep track of time, being so serious, idiots, thinking it will matter, keep me company downtown before the clock runs out. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, no, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, no, not yet, whoa. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, no, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, no, not yet, whoa. I'm not gonna wake up.
While I very much enjoy the opportunity to drive in this beautiful area, there's this one little campsite that I want to check out on 191 South. I was driving south on 180, 191, which is north of Alpine, south of Eager, Arizona. And I just saw a sign on the left that showed camping. And I thought, well, let me check it out. And so I ended up having to turn around because I was at speed, 55, 60, going downhill in the passes. And so anyway, I turned around, came back, verified. As I drove in, it said, no stay more than 14 days, which understood, no problem. Obviously, I can't do that anyway. So I came in, read the rules, checked it out. Drove all the way to the end, the very end. So if somebody decides they want to check it out, then I'll get their traffic, because that will be a loop, a turnaround, an exit. And so I'm at the very end. It is a paved segment. I know that most people would prefer to put an RV on it. I get that, but hey, you know, if I had an RV, I'd be pulling it right now, but I've chosen against that. Have just as much right to the space as anyone else. So I backed up. It's got a table, it's got a cooking grill, it's got a fire pit, and a sidewalk that goes to a vault toilet. Like, I don't know. And it's free, again, for 14 days. Now, I'm definitely going to put money in the donation box. I am within walking distance of New Mexico. I'd say probably 15 miles, maybe 20 miles at the most. And that brought up an interesting story, because the town that I went through was Eager, Arizona, and it is part of what used to be, and I've never heard this actually expressed, but there is basically a highway for outlaws that goes from Canada, or did go from Canada to Mexico. And it, of course, crossed, which is why Eager was kind of intriguing to me. It crossed the states through certain towns. So if there were federal officials or marshals or otherwise from one state in the area, then they would basically cross over to the adjacent state. And the marshals couldn't, I mean, federal marshals could, but local law enforcement couldn't do anything. And for the most part, of course, in the mid to late 1800s, even in the early 1900s in some areas, it was basically an outlaw state anyway. They call it the Wild West. Well, this was right smack dab in the middle of it. That can't be, is what I thought. Not only that, but ironically, I have 3 bars. I'm able to upload a video. I was thinking that I would have to find a place in town or something to actually be able to do this. But right now I am uploading via my phone's hotspot, and I am 52% uploaded with a fire going. And dinner plan's already in the making. Sausage in tinfoil, and just set it on the grill on top of the fire, and cut up some avocado, and have some tacos. So far, it has been exceptional. I'm enjoying it. I mean, the view is great. Well, actually, it's more like a view of what would have been a very difficult trek over a pass, i.e., as I'm traveling, this is just a good spot to stop, but there's still a long way to go. And that's actually kind of interesting, because that's kind of where I am right now. This spot was on the map, but I kind of passed it up, wasn't thinking that it would be this great. And I'm glad I was wrong.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
All the best, always.
Wanna come down to the underground old school? Here's a shovel, can you dig it, fool? Can you dig it?